I want to turn to the President of Board of Directors of Hrant Dink Foundation. Rakel Dink will be making the opening address. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Herkeli paragamner periyagak.
Dear friends, welcome to the International Conference on Hate Speech and Discrimination. As you all know, our foundation was named after my husband, who was killed because of a racist, discriminatory, violent, arrogant, and selfish mentality amidst open threats, insults, and lies, and was established with an ideal to enable a pluralistic and democratic life. My husband was shown as a target in the media and was isolated for 3 years before he was killed, having paid a very heavy price, being a target of systematic hate speech. We established the foundation and made sure the initial works of the foundation aimed at raising awareness on hate speech. We have been scanning, analyzing, and reporting about the printed media and how hate speech is used for the past 10 years with the contribution of many valuable specialists, some of whom are here with us today. Very soon, we will make our 10 years archive accessible to researchers through our website, and we will publish a book that looks into the past decade of hate speech and suggests new ideas and recommendations for a pluralistic and inclusive language and a new discourse.
We hope we will be contributing to the solution. Since the first day, unfortunately, we have seen a rise in hate speech everywhere in the world. Even during the pandemic conditions, unfortunately, we see more and more hate speech, discriminatory discourse. According to the Holy Book, quote unquote, human beings have been able to tame any kind of animal, but haven't been able to tame their language. Language is a malice that is full of fatal poison. We praise God and the Father with our language. We use the same language in order to curse human beings. The same mouth can utter praise and curse. How come that can happen? Can fresh water flow at the same time with salty water from the same river? Dear friends, I would like to read out some of the notes I have taken for myself during the trial that took place on February 11, 2008. It's not even possible to satisfy the hatred. When you look at the attitudes, arrogant attitudes of the perpetrators and the lawyers, you can understand this. They don't feel satisfied. Look at their lynching behavior, how dominant they feel themselves in the courtroom, how confident they are, as if it's not enough. They killed. It's as if they are stepping on and jumping on the body they killed. They feel as if they own the court. Just because of this, this country hasn't been in calmness. It has existed in a restless condition. We have seen many incidents caused by hatred and discrimination. Sivas, Madımak, Roboski, Ankara train station, children taking toys to Erbil, Tahir Elçi, murder. Unfortunately, it is because of this hatred that innocent people die and we lose the abundance of this soil of this country. We know hatred and discrimination is a big malice that is the enemy of the environment, abundance. And it is a product of lack of love, selfishness, and a feeling of superiority. And it may be aggravated with violence, murders, and wars. So this teaches us a lesson. We have to embrace each other, and we should have the courage to do so. We should respect each other. We should use the opportunities to walk forward together, supporting each other, helping each other away from hostility, discrimination, racism, hatred, and violence. This conference plays a very crucial role, according to me, and I hope it is going to help us embrace each other, act in solidarity, share with each other, and learn from each other. I am grateful for the participants, for the scientific board, and everyone who have made great efforts to organize this conference. The pandemic period shows us once again how important the life is and how fragile it is. We have to embrace our loved ones. It's not just our lives, everyone's lives are equally important. And we would like to have such a future. And I would like to conclude by my wishes of self-control, nobleness, and modesty for everyone to live in this world. Thank you very much. Rakel Hanım, we are grateful for this meaningful speech. Next, I would like to turn to our next speaker for the introductory words, who have made great efforts for the past 10 years with great contribution in the press scanning efforts in organizing this conference. I would like to turn to Ronald Meinardus, the Turkey representative of Friedrich Naumann Foundation.
Okay, so sorry for this. I mean, these are very difficult times, and that we are meeting under these conditions and pulling this through is already a strong statement and a big achievement. When I speak of challenges, I do not mean only the pandemic, which is of course a challenge to everyone's very health, and I can all wish us that we come through this in a healthy status. But turning now a little to the topic of our conference, the virus is also creating social ills, social evils. And these are visible not at least in the vast area of communications. And I am now referring to the never-ending avalanche of disinformation and fake news, which we are confronted with daily and which is flooding the internet, and which is making very difficult to discern and to differentiate what is actually true and what is not. How to deal with this phenomenon is an issue which is confronting more or less all societies. And it is actually not limited only to social media, although the social media, of course, are a major fault. I come from Germany, and my own country in these days is one of many examples. In these times of the COVID pandemic, we see unfolding what I would call an unholy alliance of people who deny the existence of the COVID virus and right-wing extremists who use this situation and in the course question the very democratic principles. So here we see the danger, the potential danger of misinformation and fake news for the very democratic values we all stand for. In the sphere of the internet, it is even more easy to say what you want and to write what you want than it has been in the traditional media, because there are no gatekeepers left. And I'm now turning to the theme of our conference, which is hate speech and discrimination. Both of these concepts, or both of these are highly illiberal and also anti-democratic, hate speech and discrimination, because both negate the human dignity and the human rights of every member of society. Now, from a liberal perspective, and I'm talking here as the representative of the Liberal Foundation, I want to stress that freedom and also the freedom of expression is never limitless. It is never bounded, and in all cases should be limited to the extent that it does not inflict on others' freedom, on others' dignity, and on others' human rights. Denigration of a person based on any kind of ethnic or religious differences is racism and as such unpardonable, writes Hrant Dink in a powerful essay of 2007, which is titled My Heart's Dove is Disquiet, which has been published in Argos newspaper and which is available on the Foundation's website, and I which can only invite you to have a look at. The Friedrich Naumann Foundation for Freedom is a liberal foundation, and for us, and this is a normative issue, the freedom of every individual in society is the highest good. To promote this freedom is ultimately the objective of all our educative endeavors. If you want, it is the essence of our very existence. This might sound a little theoretical. In projects like this, it becomes very practical. The foundation has been operating in Turkey since 1991, and we are very grateful to the Turkish authorities for the hospitality and the freedom they give us to operate in this country. For us throughout, the promotion of human rights, the rule of law, and minority rights are on top of our strategic objectives. And it is against exactly this background that we, at a very early stage, initiated our cooperation with the Hrant Dink Foundation. And I would like to use this opportunity to emphasize that this cooperation is very dear to us. We are very proud of this cooperation, and we are also very committed to our partnership. And at the center of this cooperation lies the Media Watch and Hate Speech project, the results of which will also move into focus during our two-day conference. As I mentioned before, this meeting is taking place under rather difficult circumstances, but at the same time, and this is actually the good news, and I want to emphasize the good news, at the same time, this meeting, the fact that close to 170 people are watching us from all corners of the world, and I would like to welcome them once more from beautiful Istanbul. This meeting also demonstrates the perseverance of the organizer and what is often called the strategic patience. Nothing can hold us up in bringing out our message and continuing our efforts in this important issue. We may look back at 10 years of dedicated and committed and what I think is highly professional work, which is aimed at strengthening the respect for human rights and tolerance of difference in the media. The reports we have worked on together and which are all available in the public domain show, and I assume also this conference will show this one more time, that there is still a long way to go until human rights and tolerance of difference are respected and communicated in the media. But as other struggles of civil society, this effort also is driven by a sense of hope and a common belief and optimism that there is a chance for a better future. And one more time, I would like to quote from the article I mentioned earlier, penned by the patron of the foundation, by Hrant Dink himself. Here he writes, "We are the kind of people who aspire to turn the hell we inhabit into a heaven. For respect for those who struggle for democracy in Turkey, for those who support us, and for the thousands of friends we know and those we don't know personally, demanded that we stay and live in Turkey." And this was in a very challenging time for him, where he was contemplating his future. We're talking about the future, and we're talking about the objective of influencing the media in this country in a positive manner. Towards the end of my paper, my short presentation, I'm grateful to the Hrant Dink Foundation and the Dink family and Mrs. Rakel and also Delal Dink for her kindness and their kindness, and also for the hospitality throughout. I remember meeting Delal Dink more than 10 years ago when I was the regional director in Cairo and I came to Istanbul. I have very fond memories of our first meeting. But we also shared hospitality in the difficult times of the pandemic, and we met on the terrace of the foundation to discuss many issues and also the details of this conference, and I'm very fond of this. A big word of thanks also to the foundation's wonderful staff. It is our policy at Naumann Stiftung that we never interfere into the content and into the themes of the conference and the activities. This is the sovereign, if you may, privilege of our partners. We have, however, and this is also a policy issue, offered our advice when it comes to methodological issues. And we have indeed discussed with the Hrant Dink Foundation staff how to make this digital gathering a more appealing gathering, that we don't have, after a while, the Zoom fatigue, and the whole event is becoming a little more attractive for the participants. And I'm very pleased that we moved a long way in this way, and I'm also impressed at the high interest this conference has attracted from throughout the world. This is a wonderful news, and I am confident that at the end of this event, we will all say it has been worth the while. I'm confident, and this is my last sentence, come time, we will meet again in beautiful Istanbul, continue our discussions in person and networking in person, and continue our friendship. Çok teşekkür ederim, and have a good conference. Bye-bye.
I'd like to thank you very much for your warm welcome of the conference. And last but not least, we would like to also invite another important opening speaker, the General Consul, Peter Ericson of Sweden. And many thanks for your kind support of the conference and human rights agenda in Turkey.
Well, thank you. And thank you to everybody for joining. As you just heard, I'm Peter Ericson, the Consul General of Sweden in Istanbul since a little more than a year. So even if I'm personally new here, Sweden has a unique historical background in Istanbul and Turkey, and we have been present in the exact same location since 1757 here in Istanbul. This background gives us the benefit of a long-standing, honest, and when we think necessary, being a critical friend of Turkey's. And our main mission today is to continue to develop Swedish-Turkish cooperation. And one main area of this support is support to Turkish civil society organizations working on issues such as gender equality, democracy, and human rights. In this regard, the Consulate General is especially honored to cooperate with and to support the Hrant Dink Foundation in your important work for minority rights, increased cultural diversity, and support of Turkey's democratization process. As we all know, and as Ms. Dink described just moments ago, we are witnessing a shrinking democratic space in Turkey over the past few years. And this has affected all areas where Turkish civil society organizations are active. In relation to this, we are concerned about the increased presence of hate speech in Turkey. As shown by the research carried out by the foundation, minorities are particularly exposed to these stigmatizing and antagonizing messages. This makes the International Hate Speech and Discrimination Conference that we're opening right now especially important. And the coming 2 days will serve as a platform bringing together several actors from different fields for discussions on how discrimination within this area can be combated. Sweden's contribution to this year's conference is financed directly from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Stockholm. This is a signal of the importance and the interest that we, in Istanbul as well as in Stockholm, attach to these issues. I know that close to 100 submissions were sent to the Foundation's open call for abstracts, and I can only imagine what a delicate process it must have been to select the presenters for the conference. But looking through the agenda, I must say that you managed to put together a very topical and relevant program with so many inspiring presenters. So we look forward to 2 rewarding days. So in conclusion, I would just like to extend a warm thank you to Ms. Rakel Dink and to all the colleagues at the Hrant Dink Foundation. You do extremely important work, and we highly appreciate your good and constructive cooperation, and we look forward to continue it in the next year. Thank you very much.